Hey guys, one of our viewers sent me this Walther PPK, and they would like my help, and I would like your help, in trying to figure out who this inscription was for and for what event. Okay, we have done presentation Walthers before. Now, usually they're engraved guns. I've shown you some really cool engraved guns. But these are not engraved. It's more of an inscription. And they were made like one or two at a time for different contests. I've shown you some before. Here's our video about the NSKK. We talked about the fact that it had a high polish finish. It was presented in 1943. Presumably, they no longer did the high polish finish. And you can see here that it has an inscription on the left grip panel. And this was for a shooting contest. So this person took first place in a shooting contest in 1943. We've talked about that before. So we believe that that was a factory ordered, factory special gun for a specific event. Also, Rock Island has sold this gun, and it is signed by Adolf Wagner, and he was the Gau leader. It was in the Munich area, Berchtesgaden area, and he was a group leader, a Nazi group leader, and this was for winning a contest. Now, in this case, I believe it was a political contest. He won the vote or the nomination to become the new Gau leader in his district. This, I believe, just by the style and the quality of the inscription, I believe this was ordered from the factory as a special presentation to Adolf Wagner, or one of his helpers, somebody who helped him become the leader of that district. Another inscribed gun I actually had to pull out of my safe. I've had it for a while, but this video reminded me, hey, I need to share it with you guys. That's right. That's this particular gun. Come take a look over my shoulder. We'll talk about this one next. Okay, so this one is presented in 38. By the way, that Wagner presentation for winning the contest, that's 37. So we have 37, 38, and the new presentation gun that we just got in is 39, so 3 years in a row. Now this is more what I would expect from a factory inscription. They tend to do it along this edge. They can't really do it here, and they don't like to interfere with the proof marks, and they don't like to interfere with the logo. So I do believe this is a factory inscription. I actually got capture papers with this one. Here's the capture papers that came with it, Sergeant Frayne. The date that works when I talked about capture papers, I say they're almost always after the war was over. The only thing, if I'm a skeptic, and I tend to be a skeptic, this is a different font and type than the rest of it. So, I don't know. I can't explain that, but this matches this gun. So, whether I'm skeptical or not, I don't really need that because I have this. Now, this has a party leader grip, and it was presented in 1938. This is presented as a prize, first prize in a shooting competition. This was a competition, I believe, of party officials, party leaders, and it was in June of 1938, and that's the town where it was held. I'm not going to try to pronounce that, but that was in the district of Franken. So now this is a shooter prize. There's another collector who has one, another one presented. I believe it's a different year, but it was from the same shooting contest in a different year, and it's only I think it's 3 serial numbers away from this one. This is in 1938 and presented in 1938. So this was a shooter prize inscription. And again, I believe this one is a factory inscription. Now that brings us to the point of this video, and I would like your help because we have some leads but not rock solid evidence. So first of all, we have a nice high polish finish. Nice grip straps. It does have the finger extension magazine, just like the last one. It does not have party leader grips. In fact, there's some cracking in the grip, which may have been dropped, but other than the cracking in the grip, the gun is in really nice condition. Now, one of the reasons I don't believe that this is factory engraved is because of where it is. First of all, you can see they went over it's a crown N proof mark here and here. They put the inscription right over top of it, and I don't believe the Walther factory would have done that. Also, in terms of the quality of the engraving, it looks a little cruder. Now, that's a judgment call on my part, but it looks a little cruder than what I see. Factory is more uniform, a little bit smaller. And when you look at the inscription of the Adolf Wagner gun, you can see the quality there as well. And you can see that they add the signature. We have also sold guns with the Himmler signature. We know the Shooter Prize guns. The factory has a way of replicating the signatures, and that's true of the Wagner gun. But this one in particular, we'd love to figure out who this is. Now, it does have a person's name, Zarske. The PG we were stumped on, but I had two authorities tell me that that was means a political member, or basically a member of the Nazi Party. So Nazi Party Zarsky, that's his last name. First prize, or first place, in the fifth contest. Now, the fifth conf, it could be they held it 5 years in a row. And so we'd like to find out what contest that was. It would have been from at least 1934 up through 1939. Of the political leaders in GUM, the experts I consulted say, okay, this was a contest of political leaders within this region, and the date was the 25th of April, 1939. Just like here, it has Group Franken. A lot of them will have where the contest was held. The Nazis had a lot of contests. A lot of them were shooting contests. The NSKK had their own shooting contests. The SA had shooting contests. There were a lot of shooting contests, but they also had political contests. So this could be political or it could be shooting. We'd love to hear if anybody has additional information. Now, this area, I started to imply, well, in my search, it looks like Gumbinen, and I put that in writing because I know I'm slaughtering the name. That region of Germany really no longer exists as Gumbinen, because it was, after the war, it was partitioned between Poland and Russia, but it is all the way on the easternmost part of what was Prussia, and now is Poland and Russia. But during the war, it was a controversial area because it was just east of Danzig. Let's talk about that for a minute. So if you're a student of history, you know Danzig, there's a picture of it here. It's actually now the port of Gdansk, part of Poland. But after World War I and before World War II started, Danzig was a neutral city. A lot of Germans moved to that area, and so that had a lot of German culture, but it also had a lot of the Polish culture. Now, Germans wanted it to be part of Germany, but the Treaty of Versailles really prompted them not to take any more territories. Of course, Hitler ignored that, and certainly by 1939, he was taking territory. And so Danzig, even though it was officially neutral, it was heavily occupied by German influence. And the Poles, of course, wanted to keep it neutral. So there was a guy, Wilhelm Zarske, who was the press chief, actually worked under the propaganda ministry under Goebbels. And Zarske, I know very little about. I could not find much about him other than here he is at Berchtesgaden with Hitler. A famous shot out on his patio porch overlooking the mountains. But we know that he was a party member. He was worked in the propaganda ministry as the press chief. Now, I have no idea if he was a good shot or not, and this gun may not have been presented to him. In that region of Gumbinen, just east of the Danzig area, could it have been him? It is certainly possible. Is there another Zarske? That's also possible. If you know anything about this contest in Gumbinen, it was held at least 5 years in a row, and somebody named Zarske was the first place winner in this contest. I also found, I used the internet to find out whatever I could, but there's other records, especially in Germany, there would be more records about some of these contests and who this possibly went to. I found this document signed by Zarske, and this time it is Wilhelm Zarske. So he was in the area in August of 1939, and this document basically appoints Albert Forster as the Gau leader of the Danzig region. Now, he was an SS guy, and he was the leader, the Gau leader of that area all the way through to the end of the war. And in fact, after the war, soon into, I think it was about 1952, he was actually executed for war crimes. So Albert Forster was assigned as the leader of this region, and Wilhelm Zarske signed the documents that appointed him as the political leader in that area. So we know that Wilhelm Zarske was in the area. It was a short automobile drive over to this region where this pistol was given out as a prize. So it's just an interesting find. I can't prove any of it, but that's as much as I know. And I'm sure the owner of this gun would like to learn more. I especially like hearing from people who live in that area, people in Germany or Poland, who have a little bit of history about that region. Gebinnen. If you can give us any more information, 1939 there was a contest, and a political member named Zarske won first prize.